All right, let's talk about Nvidia because it's led the charge once again this year. Shares up nearly 87% since January 1st. So can the chip giant sustain its momentum? Here to break it all down for us, we want to bring in Patrick Moorhead, More Insights and Strategy founder and CEO. Patrick, it's great to see you again. So talk to us just about what you're expecting to hear from Nvidia this week and whether or not you think it's going to live up to those lofty expectations.
Yeah, so every quarter we do this hand-wringing process because, as you said in the run-up, the stock has actually crushed it over the past year and a half here. So you have to be cautious about when is something going to happen. And I believe that, like we've seen the previous multiple quarters, the company is going to clearly beat expectations on top line and EPS, and will likely see a very positive guide. And I based a lot of this analysis on two or three core things, which is look at demand. Demand is off the rails. What's development risk? Somewhat low because Blackwell is very similar to the previous chip they had. And then there's manufacturing. There could be some risk in manufacturing from TSMC. And that would be the place to look.
Nvidia's AI chips are the most in-demand chips in the market, and as a result of the company's role in the generative AI boom, its stock is up by nearly 100% year to date. And since Nvidia's great success boosts the company and its partners, we have incredible news for both Nvidia and Dell investors, as the two companies announced a new partnership at the Dell Technologies World 2024 event to build AI factories. In today's video, we will expand on those AI factories, what they are, and how this can benefit companies in the future. Moreover, Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt analysts have updated their price targets on Nvidia stock ahead of earnings with bullish expectations. So let's find out what they had to say. But first, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you do not want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
Could you define for us AI factory? What is an AI factory?
Sure. So an AI factory is really a supply chain that creates intelligence. So if you think about a traditional factory, right, you've got all these ingredients, and we know a lot about supply chains. It's kind of what we do. But think about it as a supply chain to create intelligence inside your company. And to do that, it all starts with data, right? If you have no data, you have no AI, right? If you have bad data, you have bad AI. So you got to organize your data. It's something we know a lot about because data equals storage, and we store more data than anybody in the world. So you start with the data, and then you get into the ecosystem of all the software and the models that you're hearing about, the small and large models, the retrieval augmented generation. Of course, it's not just GPUs, it's also the networking and the storage and the memory that come together.
Well, I don't know if Jensen knows this, but you talk a lot about H100 is not just a chip you hold in your hand. In reality, it's DGX, right? HGX. Your staff are probably very nervous over your shoulder, but they've let me play with, let's say DGX, do a deadlift with it to illustrate the point.
80 pounds, 35,000
80
parts.
pounds, thank you. But that's the scale of what we're talking about. Yeah. Still, the AI market that I see is you selling H100 in DGX form to the hyperscalers. And I'm not yet seeing the AI factory that's going to the SME or the enterprise customer. When does that really happen,
That's why today's announcement is such a big deal.
It unlocks
I'm here to announce this Dell AI factory with Nvidia going to market starting today. In order to do this, just think about what an AI factory is. It has CPUs and GPUs. It has networking, switches, incredible amounts of software in systems connected to storage, and the miles of cables alone necessary to build up one of these things. Well, Michael turned it into an easy bit. And so that just as Dell did early days with PCs, they're now doing this with AI factories, so that any company can come to Dell and with a specification or the requirement, they could get into the business of producing. And this is the big idea, producing intelligence at scale.
So Bill is a buyer.
It's actually already happening. And companies like ServiceNow had the engineering resources to sort of build their own with our help and capability. But now we're already doing this with hundreds of enterprise companies. And there's also some services that go into this because it's a new thing, it's a new architecture. And you saw us announce new capabilities today around storage and networking. Again, it's this whole solution, and we've created the easy button so that enterprises can kind of quickly implement and deploy these tools.
NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, said that the future of artificial intelligence will be broader than what we expect it to be. With that being said, the new Dell AI factory with Nvidia brings together hardware and software from both companies to get businesses right on track with generative AI tools. This includes products powered by the NVIDIA's blockbuster Blackwell chips, with Dell's PowerEdge server offering support for 8 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs in a smaller form factor, and a new Dell generative AI solution for digital assistants, which can help customers deploy digital assistants faster than ever. Therefore, this partnership is going to be the biggest one-stop shop for AI computing in history, and this claim is emphasized more by Jensen's words that only Dell has the ability to build computer networking and storage integrated with incredible software, whether you want it to be air-cooled or liquid-cooled. Now, Jensen's goals are clear in the interview when he said that we have two things we need to do. One, we have to go modernize $1 trillion worth of the world's centers. And second, we have to build these AI factories for the rest of the $100 trillion industries. So, for those who doubted NVIDIA's momentum and continuous growth, these numbers should come as a relief. I mean, this partnership will help hundreds of data centers and companies that, combined, are worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. And it's not going to be momentary or trendy, as some said about the company's chips. This is a for sure growth source for the company over the next 5, if not tens of years. Additionally, doubters might also say that these AI factories will only be available to high-end companies and hyperscalers. However, the CEO of ServiceNow, a company that's been an NVIDIA partner for quite some time now, assured us by saying that small enterprises are also ready to use the AI factories. So let's hear what he had to say. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
You could think about it through the lens of your customers that are themselves enterprise companies, probably of smaller size. Do you think that they are ready for this AI factory investment that they're going to have to make, essentially?
I know they are.
Okay.
Last week, for example, I had the pleasure of being with Microsoft and Satya, and what they're doing on Copilot, as an example, is something that every CEO is well aware of. What they're
big and small.
Big and small. And we build our own domain-specific models on the ServiceNow platform. Why does that matter? Because we're really focused on experiences. There's an $11 trillion market in terms of GDP impact over the next 3 years, according to IDC. That is how we're going to help the world economy improve. Companies like Dell Technologies and Nvidia and ServiceNow.
Yes.
But I also acknowledge your point. We have to be open. And for example, we have a great partnership with Microsoft. They're not in the room right now, but they're a great partner. You talk about them when they're not in the room, because that's very important to our customers, to have the Copilot and to have the Now Assist. We're reinventing industries with Jensen. Telecommunications was our first. You think about the networking path of a telco company. Think about service management. Think about Dell now with Now Assist and what we can do to combine that with Michael's incredible technologies. Every company in the world and every workflow for every company in every industry will be re-engineered in 24 months. This is a tsunami, Ed. This is a tsunami of change. And only the smart ones are going to recognize I have to plant the flag now. Whether the story is complete or not is not the issue. The train has moved out. It's on the fly.
The AI server market is poised for substantial growth, with spending expected to exceed $33 billion in just 2024, according to the International Data Corporation. And Dell anticipates that a significant portion of this spending will come from smaller companies still in the early stages of technology adoption. The growth is also expected to continue beyond 2024. In fact, the global AI server market size is expected to hit around $430 billion by 2033, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 30.3% from this year to 2033. This means that Nvidia's partnership with Dell will be a money-printing machine for both parties, as they will have a substantial piece of the pie and capitalize on this massive AI growth. With that being said, major Wall Street firms Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt have analysts who are bullish on Nvidia stock and suggested a high price target. Let's take a look at their targets right ahead of earnings and find out why they're so bullish on Nvidia stock. But first, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
All right, Alex, so folks are already kind of jumping to get some new price targets out there before this report, huh?
Yeah, you're going to notice a theme amongst them as well, Oliver. A ton of optimism. This is largely a consensus trade in terms of Nvidia's success continuing. Starting with the Baird analyst Tristan Jara, raising the price target to 1,200 from 1,050, outperform rating. The firm increases estimates, citing continued strength in AI-related demand for Nvidia. They say there's no match for Nvidia's products offering this year or next year, which combined with shortening lead time should play well into the second half of the year. From a market share standpoint, the analyst, of course, excited with that outperform rating, but boosting that price target up to 1,200. That's almost, another, 30% rally, Oliver. It's just impressive that there's still this much excitement around this stock. Baird says that AI-related demand for Nvidia remains very strong. I think we knew that just chatter that crumbs might fall to something like an AMD led to like 4% rallies last week.
Yeah. So generally, all over $1,000. I mean, it seems like that's the first step folks are looking for this to clear that hurdle.
Yeah, no doubt. Stifel, Ruben Roy, 1085 from 910, buy rating. Barclays, Tom O'Malley, 1100 from 850, overweight rating. One of the things that stuck out to me in the Stifel note was that they say a beat and raise is widely anticipated once again, and they're expecting another round of strong results and outlook, so they're agreeing. This is a consensus trade at this point, Oliver. I was looking at the broad overall, just full coverage from analysts on Nvidia. 7 holds, if you look at the coverage here, 61 buys, average price target. Not all of them have updated, of course, but if you look at sort of 55 of those analysts, 1035 is the consensus price target for the next 12 months. But if you just look in the last, let's call it day, going back to May 19th, the lowest price target you're going to find is 1050 from an analyst named Kevin Garrigan over at West Park Capital. Highest you're going to see is that 1200 from Tristan Jara over at Baird. So basically the consensus is, somewhere between, let's call it 15 and 30% in the next 12 months is still in store for Nvidia. No holds even in the last 24 hours.
Rosenblatt analyst Hans Mosesmann expects Nvidia to beat and raise in the April quarter, saying that Nvidia's strategic shift towards software-centric service vectors, such as Omniverse, digital twins, and AI Foundry, is a significant development. This is because this move signals a transformation in Nvidia's business model, which will likely be significantly more software intellectual property based. Consequently, as per the analyst, the company is poised to extract more value throughout the entire stack, indicating a growth potential. Therefore, Mosesmann maintained a buy rating on Nvidia with a $1,400 price target, implying an upside of nearly 50%. This makes perfect sense, as software is very important for Nvidia, because if the company was just a hardware company, margins would be much lower than what they are now. In addition to that, many big tech companies are now making their own AI chips, so Nvidia needs software to keep being one of the market's major players even after these companies stop being its customers. Also, since software is now a big part of Nvidia's whole ecosystem, Even if other big tech names come out with their own chips, most of them would probably want to run on Nvidia's software as well, or at least be compatible on it. It's not just Rosenblatt who's bullish on Nvidia. In fact, Morgan Stanley analyst Joe Moore's optimistic view of the quarter and outlook has not changed, though his buy-side expectations have risen. The analyst noted that this is a robust setup for the Blackwell transition and expects another strong quarter and outlook from Nvidia this week. Moreover, he expects steady growth even as supply and demand shift to Blackwell, so he reiterated a buy rating on Nvidia with a price target of $1,000. Nvidia's partnership with Dell will provide businesses of all sizes access to powerful AI tools and infrastructure, and combined with the massive expected growth in the AI server market over the next decade, valued potentially in the hundreds of trillions of dollars, this partnership positions Nvidia to see substantial revenue growth for years to come. And analysts like Moore and Mosesman are backing up this bullish long-term view by both having buy ratings and lofty price targets of $1,000 and $1,400 respectively, expecting Nvidia to continue beating earnings expectations. So, in my opinion, Nvidia stock is still a buy at current levels, and it's not really that expensive when you consider the fact that you're buying one of the best-positioned companies in the entire market, and one that's expected to keep growing for years to come. But what do you think about Nvidia stock? And what are your expectations for Nvidia's earnings? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to tell us what your valuation for Nvidia is. If you would like to know more about the latest updates about companies like Nvidia, then go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.